All right, hi, and welcome to the first fantasy pod on the Foxes and Fantasy channel. I'm being joined here by my good and old friend Ben Davis.
How's
You
it going, Sam?
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I'm going to be doing my Leicester podcast separately, hence the Leicester shirts behind me. But then we're also going to be doing fantasy podcasts throughout the season. Obviously, the teams have just come out, so we thought that it'd be a good time to kind of start looking at it. I just wanted to start, Ben, by catch you by surprise a little bit and briefly just talk about last season very quickly, because I think it'd be a shame to
Oh, last season, yeah. Well,
it'd be a shame to not discuss a little bit of what happened, and also any learnings that you might take from the whole experience.
well,
Like
to
what's
be fair, but when you said you're going to catch me off guard, I thought you were going to say let's have a little chat about the Euros. So I'm glad that you haven't brought that up.
no, I did think about putting an Italy shirt behind me, but I don't want to offend people, so I won't. I do.
Yeah, probably not best to on the, when you're starting this up.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, last season, well, most seasons in general, really, me and you seem to be going at it hammer and tongs, as they say. But I'm sort of a bit of a liability when it comes to the old transfers. Love a transfer or two or three.
Yeah,
Get me back
That
into
is
that.
has been a bit of a trait of yours. I suppose it's high risk, high
Low,
potentially high
low
reward.
reward.
Yeah, yeah. I see. I kind of I pretty much stuck to a -4 most weeks. I was taking a -4 most weeks, like accepting to take a little bit, and then it just gives you that little bit more flexibility with the team. And it's hard to resist not
It
just sticking
is.
to one. um, but yeah, I mean, for me, like if I had to just quickly just highlight, highlight some moments and a regret, I'd say I played my second wild card very early in January, a lot earlier than people try and kind of hold on to it and save it
Yeah,
for the end
yeah.
of the season. I just went for it. My team at the time, it was a shambles. Like I had like Southampton players in there, and it was when they were getting hammered, and
Wasn't there a double game week coming up as well, wasn't there?
I
Around
think
that time.
potentially, yeah. I think potentially. So I just went for it, and I brought in Gundogan, and
Oh
I was
yeah.
probably one of the first to do it. And I mean, seriously, the guy was unreal for about 2 months. And that was a massive, because the over that next kind of month or two, I just started pulling away, and it became quite hard for people to catch me. But my big regret is I wanted to start this podcast as a top 50,000 player, and I think I just missed out. I think I came about 51 or 52. So
Where did you come in the Leicester League though? That you come pretty high in that, didn't you?
yeah, at one point I really
Mm.
thought I could take that, but I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
I think I might have dropped out of the top 10 in the end, which was a bit disappointing because I was well
Yeah,
up.
still though, top 10. No.
Yeah. That was about 600, like 600 or so on there, I think. But yeah,
No,
so
my regret was not putting Gundogan in because
yeah,
one of my other traits is that when somebody like that who's like low, I think he was like 5.5 last season, it's just so obvious because I think De Bruyne was injured at the time.
yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah,
and he was playing further forward, and I didn't put him in the first like 1 or 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, he can't keep it going, so I just didn't put him in. And then
yeah,
obviously he does keep going.
and then
Stubbornness.
yeah, it's also the advantage of, because I was already kind of ahead in a lot of my leagues. It's the advantage of then everyone knows that they should be putting him in, but if you're competing against me specifically, then you're thinking, well, it's too late now. He's already got him, and you just hope
Exactly. Yeah.
that he doesn't really do very well. So you kind of get that. You do have that advantage if you're kind of in the lead, especially in the kind of second half of the season when people need to try and catch you up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did have a couple of disappointing seasons before that. I was really happy, and I'm obviously looking to carry that into this one. Um, and I'm hoping that that doing this pod alongside is potentially going to help, because there's going to be a lot more kind of research going into it.
Let's see what we got here then.
So is it? So yeah, we got my screen up.
Yeah,
So
man.
let's run through my team then. So this was a kind of very first draft about a week ago. I haven't really looked at it since, except from when you mentioned Thomas, and I thought, yeah, that's a good shout. So obviously subject to change, and I did think of of a little one earlier that I think I'm going to put in. So just running through. So the keepers, I've gone for Sanchez. He was very reliable for me last season. Like
Yeah.
4.5. He's a regular starter. Brighton's defense is actually pretty solid.
Yeah. It's decent.
Yeah. Obviously, White might be on his way to you boys, to Arsenal, but even so, I still think that's a good shout. He's just a guaranteed starter at 4.5. And then I've gone for Hendo. I don't.
I toyed with Henderson as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I do expect him to be first choice, but he's not going to be starting every game, is he? Not if De Gea is still there.
No.
And a rotating keeper is annoying at the end of the day. It's not, obviously having Sanchez on the bench would help with that because he's guaranteed to be playing and he could always come in. So I did think that maybe that could work, but I don't know. I'm not sure if Henderson is the one. Like at 4.5, just to have a look, in terms of your...
Not many options, I don't think.
No, not really. No, I thought the same. Sanchez obviously does definitely stick out. I mean, none of those keepers are even guaranteed starters, are they? Maybe Dubravka? No. Is he?
I mean, Guacia is like always competing with Hennessy, is it?
Yeah.
Obviously, Vieira's just gone there, so we have to wait and see who he's going to be his preferred number one.
Yeah.
McCarthy, I think he was number one. Yeah,
he
was
always
number
in
one.
and out. He's always in and out. But then again, Southampton, their defense was terrible, so it's not really something you want to go for. So yeah, I think from those choices, they've kind of made it a bit of a no-brainer. And I mean, let's see what Sanchez's pick percentage is.
It's got to be high, I reckon, like 40% at least.
27. I thought it would be higher than that. Yeah, 27. Okay. And Hendo,
bit less.
Only 3.4. That's crazy.
Differential.
That's crazy. I definitely expect him to be the number one choice. He already kind of was becoming that last season.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So that covers my keepers, and then looking at my back five. So I've got Tierney, who, as long as he's fit, he's going to be the number one choice. He is quality.
He's quality, and a lot of people would be surprised to know that Arsenal had the third best defense in the league last season. That's something I still can't really fathom how they managed that. But
yeah, there's a lot of low-scoring games, wasn't it? Even when he did lose, it was a lot of kind of 1-0s and stuff. And there was definitely a period where kind of Arsenal defenders were doing quite well. But yeah, the only question mark with Tierney is how long can he stay fit for? But if he's ready to go at the start of the season, I feel like
I saw that he was back in pre-season training today. So
already, yeah, that's
so
good.
he should be back to start. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then I've gone Rudiger 5.5. He just a solid one last season. He didn't really let me down once I put him in, and he gets goals from corners. He's quite dangerous, and like he's clearly pretty much the main man at the back.
Yeah, since Tuchel came in.
Yeah, he loves him.
He's a pick, yeah.
That German connection. Yeah. So I think he could be a long-term one, definitely. Like I feel like Chelsea could have a good season. It could be pretty solid at the back, and like obviously the only thing with Chelsea is you've got the wing backs to think about. Like obviously Reece James at the same price is tempting, but then again, another thing that I think I learned last season, is that to just, if it's a 50-50 and one is a better option but isn't necessarily going to start as much, then just go with a starter because it's just not worth it. And so that's why it kind of has to be Rudiger over Reece James for me, at least to start with. I've got Luke Thomas of Leicester. We are obviously on the verge of signing Ryan Bertrand, but I don't think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's like Sky confirmed it like a week ago. I don't know I don't know what's happening, but so Ryan Bertrand coming in, but I don't. He will compete with Thomas, but I don't think he's going to be starting, not to begin with.
And when's Justin expected back? He won't be back for a while, will he?
I wonder what it says on there. Unknown, but yeah, I mean, it was a knee injury. When was it? Like February, March, sort of time.
So
So
you're looking at, it's usually 6 to 9 months, isn't it? So it's going to
probably
be
the end of the year, towards the end of the
yeah,
year. Yeah. So yeah, I do like the Luke Thomas shout, definitely.
yeah.
Ruben Diaz, yeah, again,
Picks himself, don't they?
yeah, I think so. Guaranteed star, same price as Cancelo, but again, the same as the kind of Reece James thing.
Exactly.
Just need a starter. Yeah, and yeah, he's quality. There's not a lot left to be said for that. And at the end of the day, you do need one Man City defender at the very least because of their, the likelihood that they're going to get a clean sheet.
Yeah.
And then again, just someone who just didn't let me down last season, like Cresswell, is just
he's another one of my stubborn ones.
He's a bonus point machine. Do you know what I mean?
He is. Set pieces, isn't it? On all the set pieces.
Yeah.
Quite solid defense.
Yeah. Look,
he's worth 0.5 more than Soufal, just because he, like I said, the corners and the free kicks and a bonus, like you said.
Yeah, that's the set pieces is worth that extra 0.5, definitely. One thing that one caveat with this team is I haven't really looked at the fixtures, so that's something that you're going to be able to help me with when you go through yours, because I've just pit this based on merit, not based on who they're playing, really. One thing that you pointed out is I don't have any Liverpool players full stop, but any Liverpool defenders, that seems like it could be a mistake.
They got Norwich first game, I think.
Oh, do they? Yeah. So, yeah, like you've got. I mean, it's either Alexander or Trent.
One or the other, isn't it?
Yeah, Trent or Robertson. I mean, Van Dijk's there; he's back in training, but it's not much cheaper. But obviously,
the only other one. Sorry, I was just going to say the only other one in that defence which could potentially be a cheap way in is Konate. Obviously, they just signed him. I was literally just looking about half an hour ago. There was an article in the Liverpool Echo saying that he's fit and primed and ready to go, they said, for the start of the season. So he could be starting alongside Van Dijk. And obviously, he's not going to be getting forward as much as Robertson and Trent, but
a 5.5 is good for a Liverpool defender. Yeah, I suppose it'll be competing with Gomez for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Trent was really good towards the end of last season, and like if he's on it, obviously he is the man to have in your team. Like really, but he's also.
I think he's back from injury. I think he's training again already because obviously you missed out on the Euros.
Yeah. That might actually help him as well. That he wasn't at the Euros. He might, be a bit fresher than some of the England players. But yeah, obviously I haven't got any money left over in this team, so if I was to bring him in, that would mean a serious kind of rejig. So midfield wise, I've gone for Jackie Grealish. I think that's subject to change. With
England getting to the final. Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to do it right now because the one I thought about earlier was because obviously the news came out today that Rashford's going to be out for 2 months with this.
Yeah, I saw that. He's getting surgery, isn't he? So
yeah. So for me, it has to be Greenwood.
Yeah.
While Rashford's out, Greenwood's got to be in there, I think.
Yeah, they got quite nice fixtures as well. I think the first few, maybe sort of see how he gets on.
And then I've gone for Mount, but again, he's at the Euros. He played a big part. I feel like the England players who got to the final, it's worth just seeing how they look, because obviously losing as well in that way, they might take them a while to get kind of back into it.
I know Arsenal said that their players that were involved in the latter stages, so like semis and onwards, have got 3 weeks off from the end of the Euros, which takes us to basically the week before the season.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing the first game week, maybe start bringing them in off the bench a second or third game week. So something to keep an eye on, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good shout. And so I'm going to make another live change, and I'll put my hero Gundo in. Stick him in for now, and then Bruno. So there's obviously that choice at kind of the 12 mil mark. You're only probably going to end up with one of them or two if you go for some seriously cheap players elsewhere. And yeah, you're choosing between Bruno, Salah, Mane, and De Bruyne, really.
Yeah,
So
they've all gone up, haven't they? Fernandez has gone up.
mm,
I think. I think he started
yeah,
last
well,
like
from
10 points. Not surprising, yeah. De
where he
Bruyne is
started
12
to
as
where he
well.
finished, yeah. Yeah, I mean they all went up quite a lot during the season. I think Mane for 12 after isn't very tempting. At the moment though, because I put Greenwood in, I'm gonna go for Salah instead of Bruno for now.
Yeah, I think that's sensible. He's
Um,
going to be starting in the first game. No Euros.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he said they have Norwich as well, which yeah,
Yeah,
is a good fixture to start with.
I'm
Uh,
interested to see what you're going to say about this next player because
yeah,
I won't be touching him, but I
but you
know
know,
that you.
yeah, all right. So when I was looking through the prices and I kind of was looking at, he just kind of stood out to me as a bit of a wild card option. Who because I you know at the end of the day, Jose didn't like him, Mourinho didn't like him.
Yeah,
Under Pochettino, he was a pretty big player.
yeah. If you
Maybe
look on his stats, I think he must have got quite a few goals and assists. I think it shows you, doesn't it? Yeah. If you go back like 2, 3, he has been on a steady decline though. But I
yeah,
mean,
but look at the minutes. Yeah, so the minutes he played,
exactly. That's the problem. Isn't it? It's the minutes.
yeah, so he was at 3,000 2 seasons in a row, and then kind of 1,800 2 seasons in a row, and then only 600 last season. But that was the Mourinho effect. Like, I
True.
um, I don't know whether Nuno Santo might. I don't know. He might
If he
go.
does play him, then and he does get those sort of minutes, then like you said, then you could be onto a winner there because you could be looking at double figure goals and assists, and
Mm,
it'd be a huge differential because I don't think many people
his price would
have him in.
fly as well. Yeah, because no one would have him at the start. If he did start doing well, then his price would
Yeah,
just go through the roof. But it is my wild card really.
yeah.
At that price point, you're looking at Suchek, Ward
Can he
Prowse,
do it again? One season wonder, potentially Suchet.
Rafinha, but
Yeah,
Rafinha's an option. Saka there at 6.5, but again, the England effect. But but I think the Saka is you're probably looking at him. I imagine.
I've had a
Yeah,
little gand.
yeah. 6.5 is tempting. I'll give him that. So what I might do, you got Traore there, Wolves Traore at 6 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
No,
yeah,
it's a good wild card shout. Like you say, it'll be interesting to see how Spurs get on with Nuno. I know he had a bit of a reputation as a defensive manager at Wolves, but then saying that the ones that were his attacking players were the one, every week it was Jimenez or Neto or Traore that got the goals. They didn't really share them out. It was like those three. So if it's a
yeah,
case of that, then Ali could thrive in that sort of setup.
yeah, and like it's not like Spurs have got a wealth of choice at the moment. I mean, I suppose they've got like Lo Celso's there, but
Mm,
I mean, if you're going to play a centre attacking mid, then you've already really got Lo Celso
the only one.
or Dele. I mean, Lo Celso isn't even really an attacking mid, is he? So
No.
I might. I think I'll go for him at the start as a wild card, and then Saka's always there at the same price for when
Easy swap.
for when he starts playing, basically.
Yeah.
And then I've gone for Sarr at 6.
He's
I don't know.
quality, man. I like him.
Yeah, I don't. I can't profess to know loads about him, but he was all right in the Prem last season. He did all right. He did well in the Championship, didn't he? And
Yeah.
there's always one player from the teams that come up who kind of does well, especially at the start. Remember,
Yeah.
Pookie, obviously when
Yeah.
that was crazy. So
And
maybe,
he's got Prem experience, hasn't he? I mean, look there, 5 goals and 7 assists the last time they were in the
yeah,
league. That's pretty
yeah,
good for a relegation sort of team.
yeah. And he scored 2 against Liverpool, didn't he? That they beat
That's it. I think
Liverpool.
it'll be good for a bonus point as well.
And then also, you look at their fixtures; it's a good start for them, really.
Yeah, that's a nice run.
Um, so yeah, Yeah, that's my little cheap shout. But again, that could easily change. Yeah, obviously Dallas is a midfielder now at 5.5. I don't think anyone's really going
Yeah,
to
I
go
saw
for it.
that. Nah.
Nah, it's like Lundstrom from the other season.
Yeah,
As soon as he
they
got
always suss it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And then up front, yeah, so I've gone Calvert Lewin. Could change depending on the whole England thing, but I do like Calvert Lewin, and he's obviously
I do.
Everton's main man.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Cavani, yeah, yeah, I think 8.5. I was just probably expecting him to be a little bit more this season. When if he plays, he's a great shout. It's just, how often is he going to play? That's
I think at the start with Rashford, like you said, with Rashford being out, Sancho could probably get an extended rest.
yeah.
Is he on there yet? Actually, Sancho.
No, he won't
They
be.
put him
So
in there.
they haven't officially announced it.
Oh, they haven't properly announced it yet. Still,
No,
no, he's not
no.
there. But
So
he's going to be like 10 plus, isn't
yeah, you'd imagine. Yeah, that's going to be a tempting one. But again, with new signings, especially from abroad, even though it is Sancho, it's like it's good just to wait a little bit. I think
Definitely.
just see, which kind of defeats the objective of having Daka in. But I don't think I will keep him in. I'm not sure if he'll start. I think that Iheanacho and Vardy, obviously, like Vard's going to be ready to give up his space. Iheanacho had a really good season, so
Yeah.
yeah, I've put him in just because I want him to do well. I think he will do well, but
I think.
um, realistically, it's too much risk to begin with. I can't see him being.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Watkins, like he's
Mm,
a 90-minute man every week, isn't he?
yeah, yeah,
Daka could be one. If Vardy gets injured or he comes off the bench and scores a few, and he might start getting starts, then definitely 7.5. The amount of goals that he scored for Salzburg, if he can transform that into Prem form, then yeah, 7.5 is a bargain.
yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people will be keeping an eye on him. I think that Abraham I just spotted at 6.5. Obviously not as a Chelsea player, but if you were to move to a West Ham or
Definitely,
then yeah, 6.5 for Abraham could be a great shout.
yeah,
But yeah, I think I will stick in Watkins for now and save it there. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm pretty happy with it, but obviously it's definitely going to change.
yeah.
All right, let's.
There hasn't really been that many transfers yet, is there? So
No, that's going to be the other interesting thing is kind of who goes where, especially like I say with players like Abraham who are already on there for a different club, like Lingard as well like
yeah,
Ben
White could be a good cheap route into defense.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how to stop sharing my screen here. Okay, here we go. There you go.
Cool.
How long have we been going? Don't know. Doesn't matter.
Do you want to have a gander at what I've come up with then?
Let's just go for it. Yeah, and I'm interested because I think that yours is going to be based on a little bit more, maybe slightly more in-depth research in terms of fixtures.
Yeah, I've had a little look at. Oh, hang on, it's saying host disabled participant screen sharing. Have you got something that can let you?
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah,
that should be fine.
Yeah, sweet. Right, here we go. Cool. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Cool. So I've gone with the same as you, Sanchez. I just think, like you said, 4.5. Can't go wrong. Starts every week. Brighton, pretty solid. So yeah, and what I should say is that I've based this team based on the first 3 game weeks.
Okay.
So the first 3 game weeks take us up to what I think is an international break because there's like a near enough week gap.
It's normally 4 and then 4.
Yeah.
So it might be after the 4th, but maybe because of the Euros and stuff, maybe they brought it forward.
Could be, yeah. So yeah, this team is based on those first 3 fixtures, which is why Foster, you might think, Sanchez and Foster is quite a low amount to spend on goalies altogether, but I'm anticipating playing Sanchez for these first 3 games. He's got what's his fixtures? Yeah, Burnley, Watford, and Everton. So not bad. Hoping for a clean sheet out of at least one of those 3.
Yeah, and Foster, do you know? Because I just had a little look. So obviously the other Watford keeper is 4.5. Bachman. Is it? So do we know? Is that because he's a starter or what?
I think so. I watched a little. Do you watch Foster's YouTube channel, the Cycling GK?
I don't.
He's got. So he puts like a GoPro in the back of his. Have you seen that? He puts like a GoPro in the back of his goal, and yeah, he just like films like the game or whatever, and then his reactions and stuff, and like he's got quite a few followers now, and it's like, but players have started to realise. So when they score against him, they run up to the GoPro and like giving it to them.
I did not know that. No.
But yeah, Foster. Yeah, check him out. But yeah, he's like basically a full-time YouTuber now. But I think he was second choice. So I might have to tinker with that, but I just went for I just saw the name, 4 mil. I just thought that.
I mean, it is always an option just to have a person. Personally, I think there's no need to spend big on keepers, but
no.
You do it's better to have the choice of 2, just so that you can especially if it's a team like Brighton and a Watford, so that at least you can tailor it to the fixtures a little bit and chop and change.
That's it, yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know about Bachman. I don't know. Maybe they're competing for first. So it might not be set in stone who's going to be starting.
Yeah,
I assume Foster's probably pretty old now. Is he?
Yeah, he's got to be getting on, hasn't he?
He's got to be like mid-30s at least. Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, moving on to defence. Sort of a bit of a forgotten man, possibly. Lamptey started last season on fire for Brighton, then got a bad injury. He was being linked to all sorts of clubs at the time, like Arsenal. I know he came from Chelsea. I think he was even linked for move back to Chelsea.
He was quality.
He is. Has some mad pace. Was getting quite a few assists. Can win. He's quite good at getting into the box, maybe winning the penalty. And like we already said, Brighton's defence isn't too bad. So yeah, showing that he's no longer injured. So I'm assuming that he'll be starting again. So that was my thinking behind it.
I just googled that and it said he's back in pre-season. So
sweet.
So yeah, that's a good shout.
I think he's quite highly selected on the team selected by.
Yeah, not surprised if he is.
Oh, that's a watch list.
A lot of people see Ben White very highly selected because everyone's anticipating the move.
Yeah. So he's the 18.8, so he's quite high on that. And then same as you, like we discussed already, Thomas.
Yeah.
While Justin's out.
I did originally have Fofana actually, and I swapped them around.
Yeah, I've gone a bit, like I said, I wouldn't usually. Well, I have been known to in the past, but this season I'm going to try and shy away from picking too many players from the same team because that also tends to do me over as well. But just for these first 3 games, I mean, you've got, I think it's Wolves at home first game. I mean, I don't know about you, but Wolves, to me, I can see them struggling a bit this season, but time will tell. I don't know much about their new manager.
Yeah.
And then West Ham,
pretty low scoring when we play them as well. They don't score many goals in general anyway, do they?
No, exactly.
So yeah. No, those are good fixtures to begin with. It's true.
Yeah, and then Fofana, I assume that he's over his end of season injury, and is he? He's not going to the Olympics, is he? I don't think.
Which I find strange. I don't really understand that, but no, he's not. Which obviously is better for us. I think that Leicester will start with 3 at the back next season. Which is good for Thomas because it means it'll be further up, it'll be win back, and it's good for Fofana because it means that he'll definitely be playing. So yeah, I think they're good shots. Whether or not I trust Leicester's defence enough to double up on them, I don't know.
Like I said, the double up maybe after the first few weeks might have to go, but I mean, I usually play my first wild card quite early, just to hop on the all the players that are sort of booming up in price to try and build a bit of like price momentum.
Yeah.
It's not always a great tactic. It hasn't really served me that well, but that is probably going to still be my plan, unless they all have a binder and I can save some points. But
it did work for me last season. Like, well, I was quite lucky, obviously, because there was a bit of a risk with COVID and stuff. But like, I think, I was making I was making my transfers pretty much at the end of the weekend. So as soon as the fixture had been done, pretty much every week, and I mean that's good because it means that you definitely won't forget on the Friday or whatever to do it.
No,
Obviously, it is really like the last thing you want to do. And also for the price rises. So, and I think doing it that way, it's like it's hard to pick out people who are going to rise in price because you don't really know who's going to, nobody would have picked out Souček or whatever at the start of last season. But as long as you can get onto them early enough,
exactly, yeah.
That's key.
As soon if they're playing at midday and they have a blinder, just transfer them in there and then, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can tell at the end of a weekend, who's going to be going up pretty much.
Yeah,
yeah. So if you want to play that game, I think you can do it that way rather than trying to kind of think too hard about who's going to go up when you put.
Especially at the start of the season because you got. I mean, how many players play fantasy? It's a lot in there. It's like 3 or 4 million people.
Yeah. How many points there are? I don't know, but yeah.
At the start, everyone's on it. So more transfers, so they can go up potentially like 0.2 or 0.3 in a week. So definitely worth getting on the differentials. Get them in your team early. Don't be stubborn like me and be like, oh, now they ain't gonna keep providing the goods, and then they do.
Yeah. And I think if and also don't be afraid. I think if you put someone in and it doesn't work out, then don't stick with them just because because I do that sometimes as well. You're stubborn because you put them in and you want to stick with them. But I think be ruthless. If it hasn't worked out after a couple of weeks, and then just bin them off and go for something else. Like
100%, ruthless is the word. Robertson is pretty self-explanatory. We already said about the Liverpool defence. Obviously, he took a lot more set pieces last season, and I was just anticipating with him being 0.5 less than Trent. If I had to choose between the two, which obviously I have, I've gone for Robbo. Obviously, Scotland went in the group stage, so I'm expecting him to be starting. I think he plays, unless he's injured, he's 90 minutes every week, isn't he?
Yeah. And like last season, everyone went for Trent at the start, and Robertson was actually the good one, and it's a roll of the dice, really. Like 1 week, Trent's probably slightly more kind of. Trent can get you a bigger 1 week kind of, he could go down to 1 week, but but consistency, they're about the same, the same, right?
Yeah, I agree on that. This is a bit of a random one. I only just put him in not long before we started this, and that's Mendy. The reason I've gone for him is if I just go to City's squad, I was pretty surprised at how small their squad is. Not so much in defence, to be fair, but you think City, to be fair, their defence is. I mean, look, they got one forward, Jesus. Obviously, they're going to probably try and get Kane, is the rumour, isn't it? And potentially Grealish, but again, their midfield.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, looking at that, I just thought that Ferran Torres could be a good one because how much is he going to be playing up front in this team? Like he could be up front a lot, and
he looked good during the Euros. To be fair, with every game that I've seen him in,
he almost seems to be more of a striker than a winger. Like for Spain, he was playing up front. For Man City, he seems to going to be playing up front. So.
I think that could be where he is long term. So he's definitely one. I'm going to put him on the watch list actually because he is one. I think he scored a hat-trick last season. I can't remember if it was in the Premier League game or not, but the potential with him is definitely there. But the reasoning with Mendy is just that, again, with the Euros, I'm thinking Zinchenko might get an extended break. Who else was there? Cancelo. Obviously, the most likely starters are Walker and Cancelo, but I'm thinking with Walker playing for England, Cancelo might start at right back, which might give Mendy an opportunity to come back. Obviously, he was out for basically, he's injury prone in general, isn't he? But in his first season, 6 assists.
Yeah.
If he can come back to that sort of form.
I don't know. I think that if he is actually like a good player, and he does get he does get assists and stuff. His crossing's actually really good and that, but I just don't think Pep likes him one bit. I don't know. He just didn't. He just doesn't like him. So Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think Zinchenko Ukraine probably went out early enough that it's probably gonna go in. But
Probably, you're right.
it
I
could be a
mean,
shout. I just
the one good thing with Mendy is just that what I'll probably do is I'll probably start him because he's not the sort of person that's going to come on. I don't think. So I'll start him, and if he doesn't play, then I've got maybe Thomas or Lamptey to come on. So yeah, a bit in the same way as Jordelli, he's probably my risky one.
Yeah. But yeah, as
so
long
yeah,
as, like you say, as long as you've got a bench you're like comfortable with and can come in, then it's fine. Especially with defenders, because if you play free and you've still, which I often do, you've still got the choice of two still on the bench. So yeah.
And then going on to midfield, so I've gone for Pepe again, slightly to do with the Euros. This one, like we said already, Saka's probably not going to play the first couple of games with the rest. It's usually either Saka or Pepe. They never usually play together, so I'm anticipating he's going to be starting on the right.
I think towards the end of last season, he really kind of came.
Yeah, I mean, he got 10 goals in the end, which you know, I was quite surprised to see that. I didn't think he scored that many goals. If you put his like Europa League goals and all comps all together, he probably got at least 15. So I think at 7.5, I think he was 9 at the start of last season, so he's come down a bit. And he will be on corners now that we're not getting Odegaard and Saka is out. So that's my thinking with him. And we've got Brentford. Not that it's necessarily going to be an easy game, but promoted side, I thought could be good. He has got Chelsea and City the next 2 games though, so not too great.
But then after that though, look at that. That was
it is a nice little run.
It's whether or not you hold out for those those fixtures, those first 3 fixtures, and then start looking at Arsenal.
Yeah,
which is that's what I might be doing.
I mean, it's hard to say.
Pepe's a good shout.
Yeah, I don't think we can do much worse than we did last season. But then again, we lost 2-1 to Hibs yesterday, so
that's true.
I know it's pre-season, but yeah, we'll have to see. Shocking.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of movement with Arsenal, I suppose, but yeah, I feel like if this is the season for Pepe to kind of become the main man. Surely, it's time for him to sort of step up now. So
definitely, yeah, step up this season.
Yeah.
I know to be honest, when I made this, I didn't realize he was so expensive, but considering that he was pretty shit last season, Mane probably is overpriced at 12. But again, based on Euros, I was thinking maybe, I know Portugal went out early enough, but I was thinking maybe Jota might get a rest. Salah and Mane, they do start quite a lot of games. So they're picking themselves for the first few weeks. Again, away to Norwich, and then home to Burnley.
Yeah.
I'll be captaining one of these 2, depending on maybe pre-season and stuff. See how they got on.
You know what? It's really difficult to not have De Bruyne.
I know.
The guy is just unreal. Maybe I might just do a draft at some point where I just try and get 2 of the premium midfielders.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have actually technically you actually have done it here. So yeah, obviously, and you've given up. You've got 2 really cheap options to make that happen, which is kind of what you need to do. But that's the other kind of conundrum, isn't it? Like I have more recently I like having the deep bench and the ability to rotate and stuff. But if you do have 11 players or 12 players and they're all gonna pretty much start, then it doesn't matter so much if you've got a couple on the bench who probably aren't. But
that's our contrast in styles, isn't it? You, like you said, I think the bench option is definitely, that is something I'm going to be trying more this season to make a more rounded team. It's just, again, the first few weeks I'm just going to go all out. I think all these players are going to be starting, other than like we already said, Mendy. Ramsey was just my cheap shout in the 4.5 bracket. I didn't really look too hard in that price area, but I remember him coming on for Villa a few times as a sub, and he seemed to be quite lively. Gets in the box quite a bit, so he's gonna be on my bench. He's probably gonna be last on my bench, but he's my cheap option.
At 4.5, you've also got Bissouma,
Yeah, I
Douglas.
did.
I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, Bissouma or Douglas Luiz, basically. I would say is your only real in terms of
yeah.
people who are actually going to play.
El Nani, mate.
Not any. I mean, you'd hope Arsenal will side. I tell you what, Billy Gilmore, 4.5.
Where's he to then?
That's right at the bottom.
Oh, he's gone to Norwich, is he?
Yeah, he's gone to Norwich.
Loan, obviously.
Norwich on loan, yeah. But he's not. He's not the most attacking midfielder, though, is he?
Could be a bonus points type player, though, like a
Could be.
Kante.
Could be. You'd expect him to play, that's for sure.
Yeah, I did look at Basuma, and I know he's got the most points there, but I know that he loves a yellow card. That's the only reason that I left him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he moves to, he could be one on the move as well, so probably one to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And then my thinking behind Mars was it's basically the same as Salah and Mane, the African. They haven't been involved in the Euros or any international tournaments like over the summer, so I'm assuming that Mars is going to be starting. With Sterling likely to get a rest. They've got all right fixtures, I think. Tottenham first game, we don't know much about how Nuno's going to get on, but yeah, the Norwich and then Arsenal, they usually smash us. So, and
I think I think Riyadh for me, like if he actually played, more, if he played more often, he would just be a no-brainer to have in the whole season. Really, like his points per game ratio, like even like going all the way back to Leicester, like it must be insane. It must be nuts. And yeah, like you say, not being no internationals and stuff. I think that's a good shout and one that I'm probably going to think about.
Foden is 1 mil cheaper, but again, he might be one for the longer term. So we'll see how that goes with him.
Yeah, you know who else I saw actually randomly yesterday who had transferred? I didn't realize. Is Rashika to Norwich?
Mate, have a look.
Is it?
I didn't put him in, but he's on the old watch list.
You got him on the watch list.
Yeah,
5.5 midfield. I've never utilized the watch list before. I'm gonna have to.
This is the first time that I've got on it. It's quite handy.
Yeah, that's good.
Because like some of the ones, I won't spend too long on it, but sure, once he comes back after Euros,
definitely.
I think he's in for a good season. White we spoke about. Did I see any others on it? This guy, Mwepu, he played for Salzburg as well. I watched a few of their games with like Daka and who's that other player they got? A Ghanaian guy. Can't think of his name now, but yeah, he was pretty on it. And Wesley was another one who was decent for Villa before his massive injury. Obviously, Watkins is probably going to be starting ahead of him. But,
Willock as well at 6 isn't a bad shout. I mean,
yeah. I was just reading that he's likely to be going back on loan to Newcastle. So,
oh really?
At 6 mil, if he goes to Newcastle, I'll probably be putting him in.
Shaw is an absolute definite. Like I don't think I often end up playing my first wildcard quite early as well. I mean, last season, I think I did it after like 2 games because there was that, the second week because there was the big teams weren't playing in that first fixture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to do your first wildcard early, and maybe when things are fully running with all the players on the Euros playing again, I don't know, it might be an option to do an early one. But yeah, because Shaw, I mean, I'm looking at Tierney and my team at 5 and Shaw at 5.5. I think
same reason.
Yeah, that's going to have to be I think out of the two, it's got to be Shaw really out of those two. So yeah,
I think so. I think he was taking corners and set pieces quite a lot for United at the end of the season.
Yeah,
and he's the only real left footer in that team. So when Bruno's not on him, he's likely to be taking them.
Yeah.
Tellez doesn't seem to be getting a look in, does he? So he's going to be getting that starting left back spot.
Yeah, from what I've seen of him, he's not actually that good. But yeah, you can't replace like Shaw last season was unreal, and in the Euros he was incredible. Yeah. So yeah, 100% he's going to be coming in.
Yeah. Moving on to up front, Watkins, like we said, we've already sort of discussed. He's a no-brainer. Seems to start pretty much every game. They've actually got quite nice fixtures on paper: Watford, Newcastle, and Brentford.
Mm.
Going back to his
And then
old
they've
club.
got a really tough run after that.
Yeah,
Watkins I had him quite a lot last season. He was quite frustrating at times because he missed a lot of chances. Like there was a lot of close ones where he could have got an unreal score. But that's no reason not to pick him. Like, yeah. I do like him. He's a good player, and Villa are a good team. So, yeah, 7.5 is kind of a good option.
yeah.
But yeah, I think Daka and Iheanacho are the same price, and I'd be keen to look at them. Depending on
Because you were playing two up front at some points last season, weren't you? So
I think we will. I think we'll be
if
playing.
you will, then I think again I'll probably go for. I'm more excited about Daka, but Iheanacho, you can't fault what he did at the end of last season. So
yeah,
it's good competition for places for Leicester up front for sure.
Yeah.
Martial, like literally, I don't rate the guy, but again, just he's done nothing in like all the years he's been there, really, has he? But I thought again with the Rashford and Sancho, or Rashford being out and Sancho getting a break, I can't see him not starting. He's going to have a bit of a point to prove. You've got Cavani at 0.5 more. I just couldn't quite fit him in. And also Martial was a midfielder last season, so I think he was a midfielder last season.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Last year was the year when they moved like people like Aubameyang back into midfield. But I don't know if he's a striker or not now. Not that I'll be putting him in because he's usually.
I think Martial's borderline for me. I suppose it's because they've only got him and Cavani. I suppose he plays on the wing just as much as he plays up front. As you say, I mean, I think Solskjaer likes him. He does play. He does score as well. He's by no means shit, but realistically, when they're fit and firing, it's going to be like Rashford, Cavani, and Sancho. You would have thought.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I think the first week it'll be Martial, Cavani, and Greenwood. So hopefully all of our shouts will be in there. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Sancho, Rashford, and Cavani's got to be the long-term front three for United.
Yeah.
And then I had 4.5 left. I've given this guy a go. He came on a few times. He came on a few times for Southampton last season. I don't think he scored, but he's quite beast. He's young. Yeah, he looked decent. I know obviously they've got Ings and Che Adams, but I'm anticipating that maybe Ings might be on the move. And if they don't replace him in time, he might get games. Again, he's going to be probably second or third on my bench. So anything that he does do is a bonus. And so my bench isn't really going to be looking that strong when you're thinking it's this guy, Ramsey, and one of Lamptey or Thomas. But I'm hoping that means that 12 are definite starters. That's my sort of thinking. And like I said, after the first 3 weeks, we'll possibly do a wild card and see what happens there.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I think this team is kind of geared up for a big start and an early wild card potentially, which it isn't a bad thing. I think it is always good if you can pick out like a couple of 4.5s who are, because there always will be like a couple of 4.5s who end up being useful.
Usually the youngsters, isn't it, as well? Like Saka was 4.5, I think, when he came in last season. And we're talking a long time ago now, but Sterling, when he first came on the scene for Liverpool, he was 4.5. There's been loads over the years.
Yeah. They're always kind of tricky to pick out, like especially forwards, because it's a pretty limited kind of selection as it is.
It is. I think Keenan Davis is the top picked 4.5, and he doesn't ever really start for Villa. Yeah, he didn't do. Every time I've seen this guy play, he's gash. So I've given this guy and Dudu a go.
Oh my god! Have you seen how many strikers Watford have got?
I know they've. I can
what
think
is
of
going on?
Is it?
Oh no! It's not as many. No, they got 5, but they're all kind of 5 strikers, and they're all like 5.5 or less.
Bloody hell, success. He's still there.
I'll tell you what, King, Josh King, 5.5. I mean, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I saw that they've got King now.
Not particularly tempted, but it could be one for the watch list. That
he was all right at Bournemouth when he popped up with the odd goal.
Yeah,
bit of a fantasy favourite sometimes.
Yeah, the Everton move was just stupid. I don't know why they even bought him.
I just like this Success because his name's Isaac Success, isn't it? When you say it in the West Country accent, it's like Isaac Success. Like, I'm a success. But he's clearly not at 5 mil and no points.
No. Fabio Silva 6. I mean, no.
Wolves, matey.
Yeah, I mean he's done nothing to actually prove himself yet. So I mean,
I wonder if obviously Jimenez didn't play, did he, at all after his injury last season? If he's back, I don't know whether if Kane goes. I was thinking maybe Spurs might, with Nuno being there, I thought they might make a move for him. I've seen that they've got Neto and Podence out long term as well, so I'd be a bit worried about their form at the start. Wolves, so I wouldn't be tempted to put any of their players in really. Neves could be on the move as well.
Even Tony, what's his name? Ivan.
Brentford.
Yeah, even he's 6.5. Like,
yeah, I thought that was a bit expensive for someone that's just coming up, like never played in the Prem.
Yeah,
it'll probably go on the list.
I mean, yeah, like obviously, yeah, he was a goal machine in the Championship, but it's still a big risk. But yeah, I think that's a good first look. I like how we've gone for kind of different tactics. I think, yeah, but inevitably with me not kind of looking at the fixtures, like mine are obviously going to change. But yeah, I think early wildcard is a strong possibility. I'm going to try and avoid it if I can do, but I'm not going to be afraid to play it if needs be. And yeah, I've kind of gone. I play it pretty safe. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's a pretty safe team.
That's the way to play the game, man.
Yeah,
it's all about consistency, picking the right captain.
Exactly, the captain choices are massive. Like that, you can't underestimate how much that matters as well, and that is a lot more of a kind of gamble. But yeah, like I think it's like my kind of tactic is looking at my team as well. It's very tried and tested. It's all players that I've relied on. I mean, a lot of them are players I relied on last season, or players that I, did well. The temptation is always to go for new signings, but there's no point. It's just unless maybe like a Sancho, like, okay, ignoring the fact he might not play the first week, but a Sancho coming in for 73 mil, who's, we all know is class and is gonna, he might just take off straight away. So someone like that, maybe. But other than that, tried and tested. Tested all the way.
Yeah, definitely. Or I'd want to, if they are like new to the league, I'd want to see like they have to be absolutely on it in pre-season, like scoring like left, right, and centre. Like, otherwise, then just stick to the Prem specialists. Yeah,
definitely. I think there's still a month to go as well. So obviously there's going to be ins and outs, transfers, pre-season injuries potentially, like Rashford dropping out today. Like if that had, that already that's forced me to make two. Well, not forced me, but it's led me to make 2 changes in my team. Just that alone. So
our teams will look completely different in a couple of weeks' time. 100%.
It'll be interesting. Actually, we should take a screen. Well, we'll have this anyway. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much it has changed between now and the start. Yeah. All right then, cool. Well, yeah, we like I say, we might end up doing these live eventually. That would be class. Yeah, I mean, I'm always here for expert tips if anyone needs them.
Anyone wants any risky wildcard options? I'm here. We should get a little wager on the go. I'll stick to my tactics. I'll probably try and not be so gung-ho on the transfers, but yeah, I can't help myself.
Yeah, take it easy, son. Take it easy. But yeah, I think we'll do one a week before the start of the season. Then when the season starts, I might end up doing a before and after, like a preview and a review of every weekend. Yeah,
man. Yeah, sweet.
All right, cool, man. Nice one. Thanks for joining.
All right, no worries. Take it easy, man.
Cheers, mate. Safe in a bit.
Yeah.
Bye.